Hello, I'm Vanessa. This is Andrew. You're watching the yogi.moksha channel. Today we've got a 60-minute wall yin practice for you. So no props required for this practice. We're going to be doing all of the postures up against the wall. This is a fairly gentle practice. It is going to be working all areas of the body. We'll be talking through the different target areas in each posture and also variations and options for you. So I hope you enjoy this practice. We're going to start by coming to the mat and just taking a few centering breaths. So when you're ready, finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, you might choose to be cross-legged or sat up on a block, or perhaps kneeling, whichever you're finding most comfortable today. When you're ready, take a couple of breaths and then gently close the eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Just letting go of anything that you've brought into your yoga practice space today. Taking a big inhale and a long exhale. Turning the attention away from the busy mind to just noticing the act of breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. You may find as you start to allow your body to slow down a little, your breathing also slows down a little. So perhaps consciously make your next breath just a little longer than the last one. Big inhale, big exhale. And as we begin our practice, often we can be thinking about the things that we should be doing or that we're going to be doing next. So just let those thoughts come into your mind, but rather than dwelling on them, allow them to leave the mind as you exhale. Just a couple more breaths now before we begin our practice today. If your eyes are closed, gently bring them open. Allow yourself to adjust to the light. And then we're going to move into our first posture. And our first posture is going to be targeting the neck, the cervical spine, and also the top of our back. So sort of the top down to the middle of the spine, the thoracic part of our spine. We're going to do that with a standing posture. So if you could come to standing. I'm going to use the wall for support here. So just allow yourself to move back so that the wall is sort of behind you, supporting you. And then we're going to come into a high dangling posture. So just allowing the top half of your spine to round forward, your neck and shoulders to round forward, as Andrew's demonstrating. We're going to try and sort of keep our head above the level of the heart for this first part of the posture to allow you to really feel that stretch through the back of the neck and the top of the spine. So just letting your arms dangle forward, head hanging heavy. We're not going to be in this position for too long. You could have a slight bend in the knees if you need it. Sort of resting your backside against the wall to give you that support. Letting the head be heavy, shoulders rounding forward. Allowing the muscles, the connective tissues through your neck, and the top of your spine to gently release, become a little longer here. As you relax here, you may find gravity sort of pulling your body down. You just want to remember we're trying to keep that stretch through the top part of our neck and spine to begin with. And then as we move into the next part of this posture, you have a couple of options. You can either allow your body to bend completely forward here so that you're bending at the hips and arms are dangling down towards the ground. Or you could choose to turn around so that your back is supported by the wall. So this is sometimes called wall bull. It's a version of high dangling. So Andrew's going to demonstrate facing the wall. He's got his upper back resting against the wall. Arms are dangling down. And I'll do the version where my back is against the wall. And it's the same posture, but I'm just folding forwards with my back against the wall rather than my upper back. Or my hips against the wall rather than my upper back, I should say. So again, you might like to have a slight bend in the knees here if you're feeling this a lot through your hamstrings. We do want to feel some stretch through our hamstrings, but if you have very tight hamstrings, then feel free to bend your knees as much as you need to. And as you breathe here, just allowing your spine to cascade down from your hips. Hands may be resting on the floor, or you could take hold of opposite elbows if you wish. So we've moved the stretch from our upper spine to our lumbar area, the lower part of our spine, and into our hamstrings now. We're not going to be in this posture for too long, but if you do need the support of the floor, feel free to rest your hands on the floor. And if at any stage you are feeling dizzy or lightheaded, you don't feel you can remain in the posture, then just very gently roll back up to standing, taking your time, allowing your blood pressure to adjust. But for the rest of us, just taking a few more breaths here. And then very gently we're all going to round back up to an upright position. Perhaps rolling the shoulders back if you feel that's beneficial. And we have one more posture before we come into our first rebound today. So we're going to come into a posture that works the hip flexor and the quad. So we're going to do that by coming down to kneeling. You want your feet towards the wall. And you may find it easier to actually start this posture by bringing one foot up against the wall. So the top of your foot is flat against the wall. And then the other leg is going to come into a lunge position. So for some people it's easier to lunge first and then bring their foot against the wall. For others, foot against the wall first is going to be easiest. Adjusting the width of your foot that's on the floor to a comfortable position, and then just sort of walking the hands forward so that you're feeling a stretch through your quad, your hip flexor. So essentially right down the front of the thigh. And when you've found your optimal stretch, just trying to come to a position of stillness, allowing your body to relax into the pose as much as you can while using the effort that you need to support yourself here. Using your breath to help relieve any areas of tension in the body. In this pose, you may be feeling something in your hip of the leg where your foot's on the floor. So in addition to the thigh of the leg where the foot's against the wall, you may be feeling something in your opposite hip. And that's perfectly normal, but the target area is the thigh of the leg that's against the wall. So in my case, that's my right leg. In Andrew's case, it's his left. Just a little longer here now. And then with your next inhale, gently coming out of this pose and switching to the other side. So perhaps walking yourself back, coming back to a kneeling position, and then swapping legs that you have against the wall. So remembering top of the foot comes up the wall, opposite leg lunges forward. And we're walking forward to take some of that pressure off the top of the knee, but also to bring the stretch right into the front of the thigh. So ensuring the quad and the hip flexor is having the opportunity for the connective tissues to lengthen. making any adjustments that you need, and then trying to come to a place where you're still. Part of the intent of Yin Yoga is to come to a position where we can hold for some time, allowing the shapes we've moved into to take their full effect on the body. And so if you're ever in any discomfort or pain, then absolutely you should feel free to adjust. But wherever possible, you're looking to find a posture where you can hold that in some stillness. If you're feeling an urge to fidget or move, just consider whether that's really necessary, whether it's going to help you to settle into a more still state, or is it just a habit? In which case, perhaps turning your attention to the breath will allow you to let that thought go. Inhaling and exhaling here. One more big breath. And then we're going to come into our first rebound. So gently easing yourself out of this pose. Moving to lying on your mat. Finding your comfortable rebound position. Allowing your arms and legs to relax. Torso to relax. Giving yourself time to notice the effects of those last postures. You notice a difference in the energy flow within the body. Perhaps a feeling of lightness or heaviness in those target areas we've just worked. So through the neck, the cervical spine, the thoracic and lumbar spine, the hamstrings or the backs of the legs, and also the fronts of the thighs, quads and hip flexors. With your next inhale, Bringing some movement back to the body. Taking your time, we're going to return to a seated position. So adjusting yourself so that you're seated with your back against the wall. In our next posture, we're going to be working down the side of the neck and the side of the body, the obliques. So we're going to start with back seated against the wall. You might like to bring your hands down to the ground if that's comfortable for you. We're going to start by bending the body to the left. So just allowing your head and neck to move towards the left, and then perhaps also allowing your spine to tilt towards the left. Stretching out the right hand fingers towards the ground will increase that stretch through the side of your neck. Some people like to move their left elbow towards the ground, so allowing the body to tilt even further. So just sort of finding a comfortable spot, pausing there for a moment. Allowing the body to adjust to this position. And then an option, if you'd like to intensify the stretch through the side of the body, is to bring your right arm up and over your head. So you might like to just allow it to bend over your head in space, or you could rest it gently on your head. Just make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the neck here if you do choose to do that. And the further you tilt towards the left, the more you're going to feel that stretch down through the right-hand side of the body. If that's too much for you, of course, you can just remain in that upright position with your neck and head tilted towards the left, little stretch through the side. You'll still be feeling that here. Just finding what is right for you today on this side of your body. Maybe closing the eyes. Letting go of any areas of tension that you may be holding on to. Feeling that release through the side of your neck, down the side of your body. Very gently now coming back to an upright position. We're going to take that same stretch to the other side. So again, starting with fingers just grounded on the floor, if that's comfortable for you. Gently allowing the head to fall to the right this time. Reaching out through the left, fingers will intensify the stretch through the side of the neck. You might like to allow your torso to tilt to the right, getting a bit of a stretch through the left-hand side of the body. Pausing here. And there is that option to come down onto the elbow if you wish, or to bring the left arm up and over the head. So knowing that what you did on one side might not be the same as what you need to do on the other, just finding an option gives you a nice stretch to your neck and your side of the body today. Again, trying to come to that place of stillness. If your arm is overhead or resting on your head, just making sure you're not putting too much pressure on your neck. We're not looking to strain the neck here. Just a gentle stretch is what we're going for. Just a couple more breaths in this pose now. And gently coming back to an upright position again. Allowing the spine to come back to neutral. Just taking a moment to adjust. We're going to move into our next posture, which will be working through the inner arm and the front of the chest and a little bit into the shoulders. So we're going to move to sitting side on to the wall. So right hip against the wall, and we're going to bring the right arm out behind us. So hand is pressing into the wall, and you're going to immediately be feeling a bit of a stretch down the inner arm, across the front of the shoulder and into the chest. So that is our target area for this pose. We're looking to feel that stretch across the front of the arm and into the chest. You may feel a little in the back of your shoulder. You could adjust the height of your hand here, so just sort of see what happens when you move it a little up or a little down. Just finding a position that is comfortable for you to hold. And an option here, if you would like to intensify the stretch just through the armpit and the chest, is to bend at the elbow so that you're sort of pushing a bit more into the wall here. So it is just an option if you prefer to keep the stretch running through the inside of the arm, or keeping the arm straight. If you want to bring it more into the chest, then bending at the elbow. And although this is quite an active position, once we've found our pose, trying to allow the body to relax here. letting go of as much effort as is possible. Using your breath to release any tension. And slowly releasing that arm. I'm going to switch to the other side. So just turning yourself around so that this time your left hip is against the wall. Left arm coming back behind us so that the palm is touching the wall. Feeling a stretch through right the way down, really, the inside of the left arm. So from the wrist up through the elbow, across the front of the shoulder, inner shoulder, into the chest. Probably going to be feeling something around your shoulder blade as well. And again, just adjusting the height of your hand up or down to find the right spot for you. And then settling into stillness. And pause here for a minute before exploring that option of the bent arm. So moving in stages allows the body to adjust, open up a little. So big inhale and exhale. And now if you want to take the option of the bent arm, you can bend at the elbow to allow your palm to push into the wall a little more. That might bring the stretch more into the front of your shoulder, front of your chest. And as always, we're not symmetrical beings, so if this is too much on this side, then just ease out of the posture as much as you need to find the position where you're at your edge that you can hold for the next minute or so. Again, remembering to let the muscles relax, perhaps consciously telling yourself to relax. This allows the connective tissues to lengthen. And again, when you're ready, gently releasing that arm. I'm going to move into another rebound now, so coming to lying on your mat. Allowing your body to relax. Allowing the blood flow to return to the areas we've been stretching and compressing. Noticing the sensations through the upper torso, shoulders, down the arms, maybe through the neck. Just inhaling and exhaling here. Gently moving the fingers and toes now. Coming back. Getting ready for our next posture. We're going to be moving into a butterfly or a dragonfly posture against the wall, working the inside of the thighs, the groin area. So the easiest way to get into that is actually to sit side on to the wall. Oops, I'll come this way. So that you have a hip against the wall, and then you can just pivot so that you're lying with your back on the mat and your hips are against the wall. Legs coming up the wall. You could choose to either come into a butterfly position here, so soles of the feet would be together. Hands could rest on the knees, just sort of gently putting some pressure there to allow the hips to open, or perhaps you could have your hands down on the mat, above your head, wherever is comfortable. If this is not giving you enough stretch through your groin area, then another option is to straighten the legs up the wall into a V shape. So our target area here is the inner thighs. We're working the groin, perhaps a little bit of the inner hamstrings. So we're really allowing the wall and gravity to do the work here. And often we find after we've come into this position for a little while, we're able to sink a little deeper. So the legs might come a little further apart, or if you're in the butterfly pose, your feet may come a little closer towards your groin. I'm trying to use as little effort as possible. Relaxing the muscles. Letting go of any stress or tension you're holding in other parts of the body. So Maybe consciously relaxing the eyebrows, forehead, relaxing the jaw. Just breathing in and breathing out. In some of these longer holds, the mind has a tendency to wander. So if you notice yourself wandering off, just bringing your thoughts back to the breath. We're going to move now into our next posture, which is working on the glutes. So gently bringing the legs back together. You may want to shuffle the hips a little further away from the wall. We're going to bring the soles of the feet to the wall. So bending at the knees, soles of the feet on the wall. I'm going to take the left ankle to rest on top of the right knee here. So if you need to adjust your position here, a few options. You could walk your foot further up the wall to bring a little less stress on the glute, left glute. Or if you're looking for a little more, you could walk your foot down the wall, bending the knee in a bit closer. Or you could adjust the position of your hips. So coming closer to the wall is going to give you more stretch, further away a bit less. And we don't want to be feeling any pinching in that left knee here. So if you're feeling a lot of pain or discomfort in that knee, then again, just adjusting to find a position that you can hold. You'll be feeling a stretch right across the back of your hip here, your glute, maybe coming down the side of the thigh into the IT band. You can adjust where you feel that stretch by rocking the hips slightly to the left or to the right. So just finding where you need to be today and then becoming still. We can carry a lot of tension in our hips, so this is a really great stretch to safely work on stretching out through the hips and the glutes. Most people are able to perform this stretch without pain in their knee. So Give it a try, just adjusting to find what works, giving you that stretch without any pain or discomfort. And again, using your breath to release any tension, allow yourself to relax. Inhaling and exhaling. All you have to do here is breathe. I'm going to slowly move now to the other side, so releasing that left ankle, left foot comes to the wall, right ankle comes across, resting on top of the left knee. Remembering you can adjust the foot that's on the wall either up or down to find the right position, giving you your best stretch. Or maybe you need to move your hips further away from the wall or closer into the wall on this side. And finally, just rocking the hips to the left or the right. Just finding your best hip stretch. And then becoming still. Relaxing into the position. Turning your attention to your breath. Allowing any tension in the body to melt away. Very little effort required to stay in this position. So just letting your body relax here. It's really only when our muscles start to relax that the surrounding tissues, tendons, connective tissues get their chance to stretch, lengthen. Just a couple more breaths here now. And then gently releasing that right leg. Taking a moment here. And then when you're ready, just adjusting yourself to move to lying back on the mat. So we're going to come into our final rebound now, our Shavasana. So finding yourself in a comfortable position, usually lying on the back. Arms and legs a comfortable distance away from the body. Eyes closed if you're comfortable to do so. Allowing your head to relax. Letting go of any tension in your face. Neck and shoulders are relaxed here. Heavy on the mat. Upper arms are relaxed. Lower arms are relaxed. Hands and fingers relaxed. Take a deep breath in. Long breath out. Torso is relaxed. Chest, belly, back, all relaxed. Hips are heavy. Thighs are relaxed. Lower legs relaxed. Feet are relaxed. Breathe in. Breathe out. Enjoy the feeling of spaciousness you've created within your body. Notice the movement of energy. Perhaps you feel a little different from when you started your practice today. Just observe. Inhaling and exhaling. And taking your time as you feel ready, bringing your awareness back to the room, making any small movements that you need to bring your body back to life. When you're ready, you may like to roll to one side, bring yourself back to an upright position. Just taking a couple more moments to readjust, getting ready to face whatever you may have in your day-to-day. Namaste.